During a couple's game night, my girlfriend's friend got too comfortable. When he said, "I bet I know more about her than you do," everyone laughed. I did too, because I'd already installed a spy app on her phone. The next round was, 2 truths and a lie. I said, "She's cheating on me, he's the other guy, and I forgive her." Then I pulled out the printouts. This happened a few months ago, and it still plays on a loop in my head. I was dating Casey for just over 3 years. We lived together in a 2-bedroom apartment in Columbus, Ohio. Nothing fancy. She worked in marketing, I worked in IT. We had our routine. Monday night takeout, Friday movie night, weekend brunches with our couple friends. It felt solid, at least for the first couple years. Then something changed. She got distant. I thought maybe it was work stress. She started spending more time on her phone. Her texts became shorter. She'd smile at her screen, then tilt it away when I walked by. One night I asked her about it. She said I was being paranoid and she was just tired. Maybe I was being paranoid, I thought. So I backed off. But it kept happening. And one night, when she said she was going to grab dinner with a coworker, I saw her Uber receipt pop up on the shared email. She hadn't gone downtown like she said. She went the opposite direction, way out to Westerville. That's when I stopped ignoring it. I work in IT. I don't talk about it much, but I know how to monitor a phone. I installed a remote sync app on her phone while she was asleep one night. I told myself I was just going to check once. Just to clear my head. What I found made me sick. There were texts from a number I didn't recognize. The contact name was saved as Dan, work, but the messages were way too personal. "Miss you already, can't stop thinking about last night," and photos. Ones I never got. Her in my hoodie, her in the mirror, nothing scandalous but still way too intimate. I traced the number and found his social media. His name was Darren. He wasn't a coworker. He wasn't even from Columbus. He lived in Dayton and was her friend from college. She just didn't tell me he was visiting. Or that she was spending nights at his Airbnb while telling me she had early meetings. I didn't blow up. I didn't confront her. I just started collecting everything. I pulled all the synced messages. The call logs. The photos. The voice notes. I saved everything. Screenshots. Printed it all. I needed proof. 2 weeks later, Casey told me she invited a friend to our next couple's game night. I asked who, trying to stay casual. She said, "Oh, just an old college buddy, Darren. He's crashing in town for a week." I almost laughed. That bold. So I said sure. Let's do game night. Our friends came, Mark and Kelly, Matt and Rachel. We ordered pizza, cracked open some beers, and started with the usual Cards Against Humanity. Then Darren walked in. He was taller than I expected. Smug. Confident. Wearing this dumb denim jacket with a smug-ass grin. He hugged Casey like he hadn't seen her in years. Picked her up off the ground. I watched her face. She smiled in that shy way I used to think was cute. I stayed calm. Then, during a break, Darren made his little comment. "I bet I know more about her than you do," he said, smirking. Everyone laughed. Even Casey. I laughed too, but not because it was funny. I laughed because I already knew the truth. I knew about the night they stayed at that cheap motel by the highway. I knew she called him when I was at my dad's birthday dinner. I knew he'd sent her a playlist called "Songs That Make Me Think of You." I knew she saved it. I let it slide. Let the game go on. Then we switched to 2 truths and a lie. We went around. Silly stuff. Kelly said she once ate a tarantula. Matt said he never learned to swim. People laughed. Then it was my turn. I looked at everyone. I smiled. Looked right at Darren. Then at Casey. I said, 1. Casey's cheating on me. 2. Darren is the other guy. 3. I forgive her. Silence. Long, heavy silence. Casey's smile dropped. What kind of joke is that? It's not, I said. I reached under the table and pulled out the manila folder. Thick with paper. I laid it on the table and pushed it forward. Go ahead. Someone open it. Kelly reached for it. She pulled out the first page, a screenshot of a message from Casey to Darren. I can't stop thinking about last night. It felt so right. The next was a selfie of them in his car. Then more messages. Dates. Locations. The room got quiet. Everyone stared. Darren stood up. Yo, this is an invasion of privacy. I stayed seated. You mean like how you invaded my home, my relationship, and my bed? He looked at Casey, then at the others. This is messed up. I stood up. You think this is messed up? You called her baby in my apartment. You left your toothbrush under my sink. You think you're slick? He didn't say a word. Just stormed out. Slammed the door. I turned to Casey. She was pale, eyes full of tears. I can explain, don't, I cut in. I already know everything. Every text. Every call. Every lie. The others sat frozen. No one said a word. I looked at them, then back at her. You humiliated me in my own house. I just returned the favor. She started crying harder. I made a mistake. It didn't mean anything. Didn't look like nothing in those texts. She reached for me. I stepped back. You said you forgave me, she sobbed. That was the lie. Casey didn't sleep in our bed that night. She stayed on the couch, crying quietly. I didn't care. I locked the bedroom door behind me. I laid there, staring at the ceiling, listening to her sobs like background noise. In the morning, I walked out, grabbed my keys, and told her I'd be gone all day. She tried to talk. I didn't stop. I slammed the door behind me. For the next few days, she kept trying. Texts. Apologies. Pathetic voice notes. Can we just talk? Please let me explain. It wasn't what you think. Except it was exactly what I thought. I'd read every word. I knew things even she didn't remember saying. The stuff she told him. That I never made her feel alive anymore. That I was safe but boring. That I never took risks. Meanwhile, she snuck around behind my back with a guy who wore bracelets and drove a leased BMW. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was that she told him she loved him. I didn't even confront her with that. Not yet. Instead, I got smart. We shared a lease. We had a joint checking account. A shared Hulu password. I started cutting ties, one by one. First, I opened a new checking account and moved my direct deposit. Then I transferred my half of the savings, my money, to that new account. I changed passwords. Cancelled my half of the utilities. Found a new place through a coworker, a small rental above someone's garage in Clintonville. Nothing fancy, but it was clean, cheap, and private. Then I set my final move in motion. A week after the game night, I came home early. She was sitting at the table, her laptop open, her eyes swollen. I want to talk, she said. Please. I nodded. Okay. Talk. She poured it all out. How she felt lonely. How Darren was just there during a time she was feeling lost. How it was never meant to go that far. How she was scared I'd never look at her the same. I let her finish. Then I dropped a second manila folder on the table. She stared at it. What's this? I crossed my arms. Everything you've done since the night I exposed you. All your texts to him after he left. How you said you missed him. How you told him I was just being dramatic. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Yeah, I said. I didn't uninstall the app. You really thought I'd believe your apology after that night? She stood up. Angry now. You're spying on me. That's illegal. You live in my apartment. I paid rent this month. You've been living here free, eating my food, still talking to him while pretending to fix things. You invaded my privacy. You wrecked our relationship. She went quiet. I handed her an envelope. It had a list of her options. She could leave peacefully, or I'd serve her through a friend who worked in legal services and make things a lot messier. I'd already filed to take my name off the lease. Her name wasn't on the new one. I had the screenshots. The voice notes. Everything. That's when her tone changed. She begged. Said she'd cut him off. Said she was going to therapy. Said she didn't want to lose me. I looked her dead in the eye. You lost me the moment you told another man you loved him. She didn't leave that night. She packed a bag but didn't go far. Said she'd stay with her friend Beth until she figured things out. I didn't care where she went. I just wanted her gone. I spent the next week getting my stuff moved to the new place. I worked late. Ate alone. Slept better than I had in months. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was still off. That feeling got worse when I got a message from a number I didn't know. Hey. I don't know you, but I think we should talk. It's about Darren. I stared at the screen. The message came through WhatsApp. I almost ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me. I replied. Who is this? I'm his ex. Or maybe I still am. He told me you were harassing him and your girlfriend. That you made up everything. I stared at that last line for a while. We messaged back and forth. Her name was Jenna. She lived in Dayton, said she'd been with Darren for almost 2 years. And until recently, she had no idea he was seeing anyone else. Not Casey. Not anyone. Jenna had stumbled across messages between him and Casey when he left his phone unlocked. When she confronted him, he told her Casey was just some girl who got obsessed with him. That I was her crazy ex who wouldn't let her go. The whole thing made my skin crawl. He lies to everyone, Jenna wrote. You're not the first guy he's done this to. I only wish I found out sooner. I asked if she had proof. She sent me screenshots. Different dates, same kind of messages. Darren telling her he loved her. Darren saying he wanted to take her to New York after the project was over. Darren promising he was done with the crazy chick in Columbus. I read through all of it. My stomach turned again. Not just from the betrayal, but from how stupid Casey must have been. She wasn't special to him. She was just one of many. She threw away 3 years with me to be some guy's side toy. I didn't respond to Jenna right away. I sat with it for a while. Then I messaged her one last time. Would you be willing to meet? We met halfway in Springfield. At a coffee shop. Jenna was quiet, polite. She showed me more messages. More receipts. She said Darren used the same tricks on every woman. Same compliments, same routines, same playlists. Part of me wants to warn her, she said. But part of me doesn't care. I nodded. Let me handle that part. When I got back to Columbus, I made one final folder. Not for me. Not for friends. For Casey. I called her and asked her to meet me at the apartment. Just for 5 minutes. She showed up the next night. Wore makeup. Tried to smile like nothing had changed. "What do you want to talk about?" she asked. I handed her the folder. She opened it. Her face twisted slowly, page by page. Different dates. Different women. Some photos were recent, screenshots Darren had sent Jenna while still texting Casey. "You thought you were the only one," I said. "But he was running game on everyone." She sat down slowly. "This can't be real." "It is. And you threw everything away for that guy." She started crying again. But I didn't comfort her. I just stood there, arms crossed. "I wasn't enough for you," I said. "Now you'll never be enough for him either." She looked at me, broken. "Why are you doing this?" I leaned in. "Because you humiliated me. Lied to me. Made me doubt myself. So now? You get to sit with the truth. Just like I did." After I gave Casey that folder, she stopped crying. She didn't yell. Didn't throw it back in my face. She just sat there, numb. I could see her trying to process it all. Not just what Darren had done, but what she had done. I didn't say another word. I picked up my keys and walked out. That was the last time I ever saw her in person. A week later, I moved the last of my stuff out of the apartment. She sent me a long email, pages of apologies, explanations, a timeline of what she claimed really happened. I didn't read past the second paragraph. I archived it and never responded. But this story isn't just about her. Or me. Darren had his part to play. And he wasn't going to walk away clean. Remember Jenna? She and I kept in touch. Not romantically. Just two people who got played by the same clown. I asked her if she'd be willing to help me with something petty. She said yes. We gathered everything, screenshots, dates, photos, and sent a neat little packet to every woman Darren was connected to on Facebook and Instagram. We found 3 more. One of them was engaged to him. Another worked with him at some startup in Dayton. The last one? She thought she was his girlfriend. Within a week, his socials blew up. The comments turned into a war zone. One girl posted a public call-out tagging him and all the other women. Another messaged us to say he'd been fired from his job, because apparently, he'd been sleeping with a coworker while harassing another, and HR had already been watching him. Our screenshots sealed it. Last I heard, Darren moved back in with his mom. His shiny car got repoed. One of the girls he lied to got a restraining order. And Casey? Word spread in our friend group. Some backed away from both of us. Others reached out to say they were sorry they didn't see it sooner. Kelly texted me, said Casey was a mess and wanted to make things right. I didn't care. I started therapy. Not just because of her, but because I realized how much I had let myself get lost trying to hold on to someone who didn't want me the way I deserved. I had to sit with that for a while. Had to admit I'd missed the red flags. That I stayed too long. That I gave too many second chances. But now? Now I live in peace. I sleep better. I trust myself more. I'm not looking for revenge anymore. I already got it. Casey gave up everything good in her life for a man who didn't even want her. And Darren? He got exposed for the liar he was. As for me? I lost a girlfriend, a few friends, and some sleep. But I found something better. I found the truth. And I let it burn everything that needed to go.